This is my college football team's tier list heading into week 8. Tier 1, these are your national championship contenders. We've got 2 new teams this week. How about Oregon after knocking off Ohio State at home in an absolute barn burner? They look like the team that we thought before the season. They switched up their offensive line, and they've been looking dominant ever since up front. Penn State I've added. Say in the comments what you want to say. This Penn State team, with the addition of Andy Koletke at the offensive coordinator, Drew Aller made some big-time throws. The receiver room's got to step up a little bit, and the running game didn't get off to a hot start against USC, but regardless, that's a gritty win, and I've got them as a national championship contender. My only worry in this Tier 1 is going to be Georgia. Georgia has not been looking like the Georgia we thought. Mississippi State only winning by 10 points. Carson Beck keeps throwing interceptions. The running game's not there. I'm really intrigued to see how they face a Texas team that's the hottest and most deep team in the country. Can Georgia get back to their old ways? We'll see this Saturday. Tier 2, these are your challengers, the ascenders, the teams on the outside looking in. I've added 2 new teams. I've also dropped some teams that you'll see in Tier 3 next. LSU, after a big win against Ole Miss, they showed me defensively that they can rush the quarterback. Garrett Nussmeier made some critical throws that before the season I was critical on him. I'm a fan of him after what I saw against Ole Miss. Clemson continues to dominate every week. Even though it's not quality opponents, they look like a completely different team than they were against Georgia. Still got Miami and still got Alabama. Even though it was a puzzling win against South Carolina, they can redeem themselves this week against Tennessee. Tier 3, these are your playoff hopefuls. I moved Tennessee down from Tier 2 to Tier 3. Their quarterback is regressing. Their offense doesn't look the same. Their offensive line's getting pushed around against Florida. They won. Real intrigued to see against Alabama, kind of a weaker defense, how they match up. But this Tennessee team is just mystery after mystery, week after week. Notre Dame's sleeping under the radar. They continue to week in, week out. You got to put them in the same category as A&M because they beat A&M. And then Iowa State moves up 1 tier. I'm starting to get on the bandwagon of Iowa State. They win big on the road against West Virginia. They're the Big 12 representative. They're undefeated. You got to put them at least at Tier 3. I like what Matt Campbell's doing there in Ames, Iowa. Tier 4, these are kind of your mystery ranked teams. I get the BYU hype, right? I just said that Iowa State 6-0. They're 6-0 too. It just seems too good to be true for me with BYU. We'll continue to watch them, keep a close eye on them as the season progresses. Ole Miss, they moved down 2 tiers after a bad loss against LSU. They're in do or die mode. They basically have to win out first shot at the CFP. Kansas State, impressive win on the road against Colorado. They'll be on the road this weekend against West Virginia. We got 2 new teams in Tier 4. Indiana 6-0, big matchup this weekend against Nebraska. And Boise State continues to dominate week in and week out. The Group of 5 representative. I got to move them up 1 tier. And then lastly, these are your competitive, under-the-radar teams. Welcome Arizona State to Tier 5 as they had a big win against Utah. They'll be without their quarterback Sam Levitt this weekend against Cincinnati. How will they face a Cincinnati team that's been under the radar in the Big 12? Texas Tech's still there. Nebraska's still there. Syracuse, SMU, Michigan, Pitt. We'll get a lot of answers in Tier 5. Missouri, Vanderbilt as well. So with that, that's my tier list heading into week 8. We're at the mid-season point in college football. College football is better than ever. The new changes with NIL, the transfer portal, and conference realignment has allowed this season to be absolute magical. One to remember forever. We still don't know who's going to be the number 1 team in the country, which is awesome because the 12-team playoff happens. Anyone on any given day can beat anybody. So stay tuned, stay locked in, follow for more college football content coming soon.